everyone, a very good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Mubina Kapasi. Markets tanking. It's another day of red on the screen. 134 points gone for the Sensex. Nifty as well losing. We continue to stay sub the 12,200 mark. But as you know, Market Fatafat is all about flagging off those individual movers and shakers. So let's get straight to that. We have with us on the technicals Manav Chopra of India Bulls Ventures, and we have Vivek and Soumya joining in from the research team. Afternoon, everyone. And I think let's kickstart the show with the numbers appearing on the top of your screens. Granules India, which is seeing an uptick as the numbers have just hit the exchanges, because we have the margin number that has really managed to supersede expectations. The profit after tax is coming at 64 crore rupees. But more importantly, take a look at the top line growth, almost a 70 crore top line growth, which is almost 10%, so not bad at all. And more importantly, I suppose what's also supporting the stock price is the fact that they have decided to go ahead with I think it was a buyback, if I'm not mistaken, that I saw. We do know that the government, the Granules India, was going to mull over a particular, yes, it's a buyback, by the way, of up to 250 crores. 200 rupees is the buyback price that has been approved at. Currently, the stock is at 150 rupees. So I suppose that as well is adding further fervor to the stock price, which as we speak has sharply spiked and is in fact gaining 2.24%. Okay, let's move on and talk about Marico as well, because that stock too is in focus. This after BofA has come out with quite a weak report, quite a negative report rather, on Marico, where they have downgraded the stock to an underperform from a buy. So it's a two-notch downgrade. The target price as well has been cut to 370 rupees from 410 rupees, as they believe that the current demand trajectory is much weaker than expected earlier. They're downgrading the stock given the limited upside potential from here. Do remember that Marico had also announced their, given out rather their third quarter update, and things did not look very pretty. They did say that we may see a bit of a degrowth as well on the India business on the volume front. So that is perturbing news. And since then, Marico has been weak. It has come off very, very sharply from those 400 rupee levels, now at 338 rupees. Okay, let's move on and talk about a result reaction then, or rather should I say a results candidate, and that's Zee Entertainment. A lot of pricing action has been witnessed ahead of the numbers for this one. Yesterday it was the big loser, but today it's a 4% recovery seen in the stock. Manav, ahead of the numbers, what sort of positions are you observing here?
Yes, in fact, the prices have bounced from its daily support. The overall trend for this stock has been neutral. Overall it has been in a sideways trading band. But since it has bounced from its support levels, I believe, the lows that the stock has made today would act as an important key pivot for the markets going forward. And if these lows hold for next couple of trading sessions, we could expect a near-term positive rally, since the prices are also bouncing from its important support levels and the oscillators are indicating for a short-term rally. We expect the targets, at least in the near term, close to be the levels of 3101. Can maintain a stop loss on closing, one can maintain a bullish bias with a stop loss below today's low as closing basis.
Okay, 4.1% higher for Zee Entertainment today. Of course, I suppose mostly post-market hours is when the company will deliver its third quarter numbers. And from earnings expected to earnings delivered, yesterday we had Kotak Bank that announced its third quarter numbers. Vivek, what do brokerages have to make of the numbers today?
Well, when you're talking about Kotak Mahindra Bank, numbers were broadly in line with street estimates. But what you're looking at actually the kind of commentary that the company came out with, and the commentary was something that the street didn't really like too much. A lot of stress as far as the microfinance book is concerned, not too much loan growth. In fact, they've gone ahead and trimmed both the NIM expectations as well as advances, that is the loan growth expectations. So overall, when you're talking about Kotak Mahindra Bank, very, very cautious commentary coming in. However, most of the brokerages are quite bullish. JP Morgan has maintained an overweight stance. They're saying that the bank at this point of time would most likely sustain its premium valuation, but you need to wait and watch out for any kind of further moderation as far as advances growth is concerned.
Okay, 1601 for Kotak. And Soumya, today's Dhamaka results was from Canfin Homes.
Well, yes, exactly, and that's reflected in the stock prices as well. The stock stood rallying close about 15 to 16% on back of these strong earnings. The company reported a strong profit growth of around 41%, mainly led by healthy NII and loan growth. Apart from this, the margin expanded by over 8 basis points on a sequential basis. Asset quality pretty much remained stable, with GNPAs staying at around 0.8%. At a time when the other HFCs are actually struggling to maintain their disbursements. Can Fin Homes saw disbursement growth of around 12% on a YOY basis and 11% on a sequential basis, mainly on back of the fact that they do not face too much competition in their segment. Apart from this, on the future outlook, the company says they're planning to reach 40,000 crore of loan book size by March 2022 and also expand to newer geographies. And that's pretty much what's keeping the entire stock active today, the fact that very good results and they're very optimistic when it comes to their future outlook as well.
Let's wait for the numbers. Okay, that's Can Fin Homes for you. It's 15% higher, so certainly great gain seen there. Okay, Shrey Infra as well as a stock in focus. The company announced yesterday that the board is going to be mulling raising up to 3,000 crore rupees on the 14th of February when it will have its board meeting. That's, I suppose, when they'll announce their third quarter numbers as well. So watch out for that. The stock price certainly buzzing away in trade. Okay, Manav, you know, the metal space has been seeing quite a bit of a conundrum because we did see a rise come in and how Tata Steel went beyond 500 rupees, but now it's ebbed off quite a bit. It's now at 480. It's down 2%. At the current juncture, what would you recommend?
So the prices have witnessed profit booking post, we did see a very good rally, and since the stock were in deep overbought zone, we have witnessed some sort of a profit booking into this stock. It has also violated its important daily support levels of 500 and it's currently trading below it with a gap down opening. I sense, looking at the open interest data, the prices would witness some sort of a selling pressure, at least in the near term, since it's also trading below its key moving averages. For the near term perspective, one can maintain a short term bullish. For near term, it should be bearish, at least for next couple of trading sessions. We expect the lower targets of 450 to be achieved. The medium term trend, however, is bullish, but for the short term, we expect a decline towards its mean reversion and towards weekly support, having lower targets of 450 on the lower side.
Okay, so that's Manav's recommendation on Tata Steel. Vivek, Spencer's, why are we seeing so much of a rally come by in this stock?
Well, this is quite similar to what we did as far as India Cements is concerned. We saw, whenever there's a very marquee name or someone who has an excellent track record when it comes to picking multi-baggers, when it comes to picking the right investments, enters the stock, you generally see the street giving a significant amount of premium to these companies. So in Spencer's, just like in India Cements, Radhakishan Damani is the guy who has gone ahead and picked up almost 2.09% stake in the company. Now, every time you see, such a marquee name entering a stock, you're bound to see a rally. And overall, the entire retail space at this point of time seems to be holding out despite the kind of macro weakness that you have seen.
Okay, 19% higher for this stock. Spencer's Retail, 89.2. Okay, I just want to also address ICICI Prudential that has just released its third quarter numbers. We have the profit after tax figure that's come in at 302 crore rupees. And the net premium income figure, that is something as well that has just been released as we speak. But the stock price has taken a bit of a beating. However, there's again been a recovery. So after all the give and take, now we are left with losses of about 0.25%. This is a result reaction seen on ICICI Prudential. And from the same stable, stock number 10 is ICICI Securities. Soumya, how are the numbers here?
Well, decent set of numbers reported by ICICI Securities. Total revenue grew by around 4%. And in fact, profit particularly was really strong, coming in at around 36% of growth on a YOY basis. Well, particularly the growth in retail and allied businesses is what aided the revenue growth. Along with this, the customer acquisition and client base remained strong for this counter, and in fact, we did see the stock also rally close to about 1.4% on back of good results.
Okay, 1.4% higher for ICICI Securities. We'll take a very short break right here on the show. Do come right back. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET. Now let's continue with our countdown. Manav, Hero Moto. In fact, the entire auto space has been a bit weakish for the last few days after that rally that we had seen. But Hero Moto really has stayed out of it all. What's your view here?
See, the prices on the high time frame charts is trying to form a double bottom pattern. It has an important support on the lower side, which is around the levels of 2350, and currently the prices are nearing to that support levels. I believe since the prices are also providing a very good risk reward for a medium term perspective, and the oscillators are bouncing from its oversold levels, I sense in the near term one should maintain a contra view and can take a bullish stance at the current levels. There will be a strong momentum in the stock once if it exceeds 2440 on the upside. On the medium term perspective, we could see targets of 2600 for the short term. We expect a bounce at least towards the levels of 2450. So for a short term, one can maintain a bullish stance into this stock.
Okay, so that's the recommendation then that is coming in currently on a Hero MotoCorp, almost 2400 rupees for this stock. And Vivek, of course, we can't get our eyes off these telecom names. We do know what's happening with Vodafone, etc. But how does it impact Bharti Infratel?
Well, Mubina, one of the reasons why Bharti Infratel fell a couple of days ago was the fact that the company would be faced with a two-player market. And Vodafone would be completely out of the race. This ensures that the company has absolutely no pricing power, and it would lose one of the biggest customers. Now, in case some of the source-based stories today are true, in case there is some amount of relief coming in terms of the terms of payment, the timeliness of payment, and how exactly whether they also have to pay the fines in terms of telecoms to the government. In case there is some amount of relief coming in, Bharti Infratel could be a very big beneficiary, and on the back of that, the underperformance that the stock saw, in the run-up to this particular verdict could get reversed, and you're seeing some amount of it getting built into trade today.
Okay, that's 238 rupees for Infratel, 7% higher. Samya, what's the news flow around in NBCC?
Well, this one has orders worth over 720 crore rupees from Central Coalfield. We'll talk about the stock performance. However, during the earlier part of the trading session, we did see the stock rallying close to about 1 to 2%. But right now, it has reversed all gains and it's trading with a negative bias as of now.
Yeah, it's erased off those early morning gains. Let's move on and talk about a stock, though, that it continues to go lower in trade, and that's Balrampur Chini. It almost fell by 2% earlier in trade after the company informed that there was an incident at one of its distillery units in Balrampur in Uttar Pradesh. It occurred at a CO2 tank at an incineration plant at the distillery unit. This was on 16 Jan, and the accident damaged the pipelines and certain other equipments. There has, however, mercifully been no loss or injury to human life whatsoever. At this point of time, the company is in the process of ascertaining the loss and intimate the same to the insurance company. It's trying to also, of course, restart functioning of the full capacity of the distillery unit at the earliest, of which about 100 KLPD is already functioning, from Monday. The remaining is expected to start functioning in a phased manner. But the stock price is, in fact, as we speak, near the day's low. Okay, Manav, let's talk about the sort of move we've been seeing in an Indoco Remedies. Our colleague Pankaj as well did a what's the story behind this rally that we are seeing in Indoco, pardon me. But the rally continues here today as well. It's higher by 6.5%. What would you recommend traders could do here?
Absolutely. In fact, we've seen a very good rally coming into the stock. In fact, on the daily perspective, there has been a price and volume breakout. Also, on the weekly charts, there has been a good breakout from its consolidation pattern. It definitely confirms a medium-term trend reversal, and the momentum that the stock has gathered, it's likely to see more legs on the upside. In fact, after a good long consolidation, there has been a breakout from its long-term averages. I sense in the near term, 200 and 215 would act as a very strong base for the support for the stock on the lower side, and even at the current levels, there is limited downside on the current from the current zone. So we recommend a buy on dips approach into the stock, but for a near-term perspective, we can see an upside target of close to 255. So overall, maintain a bullish stance into this.
Yeah, great move, seen over here, and that's Manav's recommendation. Vivek, here's a stock we don't talk about very often, and that's Green Panel. What would you like to tell our viewers about this one?
Well, Green Panel actually comes from, it's a recently listed company, but how it's been listed for a while. It's, it's the demerged entity of the Greenply Group. Now, when you're talking about this particular company, it's a leader in that particular segment in which it operates, especially the panel segment. Leader over there. Few players exist in this particular industry. In terms of the barrier to actually enter the business, it's quite a strong barrier that exists. So you could call a certain amount of moat being present over there. Export opportunity exists, and also a good brand name that's been developed. On the back of that, this particular stock continues to do quite well.
Okay, that's green panel for you. Moving on, Samya, KEI Industries, how were the numbers here?
Well, strong show by KEI. In fact, the revenues were up by over 21% to nearly 1,314 crore rupees. Similarly, the profit line also did do well with growth of around 50% on a YY basis. EBITDA did see a growth of around 21%, and margins were pretty much stable. And in fact, the good performance basically on the profit line is what's cheering the streets, although the stock's off the day's high.
3.22% of gains, nevertheless, for this one. Okay, continuing with our countdown. Manav, again, from the metal space, NMDC, yesterday we saw a nice rally, but today this one too has succumbed under the selling pressure. Your view here?
See, we have already seen the stock see a very good rally recently. The momentum still is quite favorable. Yes, the stock is declining on terms of profit booking. I sense the overall trend still remains bullish. On the lower side, 125 and 130 would act as a very important support and cushion in case of any decline. Since the overall trend is still bullish, I would recommend that one can still maintain a bow and dips approach into this stock. As long as the prices trade above the support levels, we could see a trend to resume on the upside. We maintain our upside target into this for levels of 150 on the upside and one can have a whole time period of at least 1.5 months into this. So overall, maintain a bullish stance into this and maintain a stop loss of 120 on closing basis.
Okay, so that's the recommendation then on an NMDC. Soumya, what's the news around Info Edge?
Well, Zomato has acquired the Indian operations of Uber Eats in an all-stock transaction, and in fact, this food delivery business, which is run by Uber, it's valued at around 350 million or close to about 2,485 crore rupees. Apart from this, Uber would get an approximately 10% stake in Zomato for their 100% stake offloading in Uber Eats, and this is the development on which we're flagging off Info Edge, and the stock's gaining close to about 1.1%.
Yeah, that it is, and we'll get you that exclusive conversation with Sanjeev Bikhchandani as well very soon. And final stock for the day is PFC. Look at the way the stock continues to tank. In fact, it's down for the fourth straight trading session. Remember, news flow as well, not exactly that great, because it looks like this one's going to be replaced from the CPSE ETF. That's essentially, a collection of stocks from the PSU space. PFC seems to be getting now replaced in that prestigious index, and that may perhaps be a reason why the stock is falling, because do remember the CPSE ETF is sort of a benchmark as well for a lot of asset managers. 107 rupees for PFC. Okay, well, with that, we're out of time and we're done with the 20 stocks of Market Fatafat. So, Manav, Vivek and Soumya, thank you for joining in. Stay tuned though, closing trades comes up after a very short break.